What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10K on the Bay, my journey to 10,000 live listings on eBay. Today, I have a really awesome guest for you guys. She's going to show us how to run an eBay business while you're still in school. I have Katherine on the line. Why don't you give us a brief introduction? Let us know how you started thrifting and sort of what you're doing right now. Actually, it doesn't have to be brief. Go ahead.
Okay, hello. My name's Katherine. I'm 18 and I go to Louisiana State University in Louisiana, Baton Rouge. I started reselling because a friend told my boyfriend about this crazy place called the Bins, and him, my boyfriend, knowing that going to thrift stores is a hobby, told me about it. And of course, I lost my mind. I went on YouTube, started looking at videos, found everyone, and I was up till 3 a.m. watching them all. And that night, I basically sat down and decided in my head that I was going to do this, which was kind of crazy. I remember it was either that night or the next night when I was up till 3 a.m. that Jacob, my boyfriend, walked out and said, at 3 a.m., like, looking at me like kind of, he just gave me the look, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you still awake on your phone watching YouTube videos at 3 a.m.? And from that point on, I dove into it for sure.
That's awesome. So you're actually only 18 years old. So when did you get an idea of thrifting before you discovered the Goodwill outlet?
I guess I kind of just like learned about thrifting and like reselling in general, knowing what it was just over time. Like, I've always been, uh, and my dad is in like growing up, I always had my own desktop and everything. And so, then it was part of my life, interested in like eBay and all that fun stuff. And I realized, like, there's all this pre-owned stuff on here, like where does that come from? And then over time, I just kind of learned what reselling was. And I'd never really thought about clothing reselling until I figured or found out about the bins.
How long have you been selling on eBay?
Selling, oh gosh, I want to get the live chat pulled up. I've been selling on eBay, I'd say for a few months seriously. Ooh, for a few months seriously. Um, but it's definitely been like a learning experience because I started, but I hadn't truly started, I guess you could say. So,
So we talked a couple. Go ahead.
oh no, I'd say a few months. I haven't quite figured out my start date, but a few months seriously.
Fair enough. So we had talked a little bit before the video started, and you had mentioned that you're majoring in mechanical engineering. Is that right?
Yes.
And that's not like an easy major. So how are you balancing time?
So I'm in my first semester, my freshman year. So time right now isn't that bad. But I'm definitely figuring out a schedule, trying to figure out. It's kind of difficult because there's only like certain thrift stores. I only shop on certain days when they do student discount.
That's
So
so smart.
yeah, so it's figuring out like there's this one thrift store I go to, and I wouldn't buy anything from there like regular price unless it like not for reselling. Like if it was just for me, then yeah, the prices are great, but for reselling, no way. So I only go there on Wednesdays when they do 50% student discount. So
Wow.
I go here on Wednesday, this other thrift store I can go to all the time. So it's right now I don't have like a definite schedule, especially because it was like first week mayhem. I'm not going to base anything on how much time I have in the first week because, classes are still getting figured out and it's a mess. But I'm definitely going to get a schedule together as far as like how much time I want to devote to each item, I guess, of my life, and then each aspect of college and reselling. But I'm definitely learning the time balance situation.
There's been a couple of people who have reached out to me that are actually looking to almost pay for their entire college education with eBay while they're going to school. And because eBay is a job that's fun and also makes money, which is unusual, Um, are there specific categories that you enjoy selling in? And well, let's start there. What do you like selling?
Women's tops and dresses. I started trying to sell everything, and I quickly learned that that did not work for me. Like
Okay.
I tried just doing like women's and men's, just clothing, right? When I say everything, I mean clothing. And I quickly learned I don't know anything about men's clothing. That like that, I went to list my first men's dress shirt, and I clicked on like the eBay drop down for styles, and I had no earthly idea. Like I didn't relate to any of it. Um, so the stuff that I still have listed is all from like when I first started, and it shows that I didn't know how to list it because it's still in my store. So I should probably go back and redo that. But yeah, I've narrowed it down to women's tops and dresses, and I've excluded pants. One, because they seem to cause a lot of returns. Because pants are a very like precise fit. You know, you want them to fit perfectly, or at least close to. While with tops and dresses, there's wiggle room,
Hmm.
and pants I just don't enjoy as much.
This is awesome. In just a couple of months, you've figured out what takes some resellers years and years of selling everything and failing sort of to just niche down, probably because of speed and such. But you had mentioned that you sold some electronics before. So can you talk a little bit about that and maybe why you don't do it anymore?
So when I say like I sold electronics, it was like I sold it on, you know, like OfferUp and whatnot, things that were just mine. And whenever I went to like describe them, that's when I realized I shouldn't sell electronics because I don't know. I mean, I know how they work, obviously, but I'm not good, especially at, you know, when you get into like DVD players and all of that crazy stuff, you know, I just don't know the specifics of it. And it takes a long time, one time experience and just research to learn everything about one division of electronics.
No, that's right. It's very, very broad and difficult to describe sometimes. And it is a little more challenging to ship.
Yeah, no,
Um,
hard goods in general, but especially electronics. That that terrifies me having to sell that.
so are you working out of a dorm room?
No, actually, I was blessed enough. My parents did the same for my sisters, but they bought my boyfriend and I a condo, and then they'll sell it when we move out, hopefully for profit. But basically, yeah. So we live in a condo off campus.
And how much space do you have to dedicate to this?
I have an upstairs. They called it a guest bedroom, but there's no bathroom, so I just turned it into our office. And it started off when we moved here as like, oh, we'll do all of our school stuff here, and then he has like his drum set up here, kind of like a game room. But it quickly morphed. When I brought the mannequin and the backdrop in, the room turned into the office. Basically, that was the point in which it was like, okay, this is my space now.
Do you have a full like backdrop and mannequin, all the good stuff?
Yeah, and that was another thing that I had tried to hold off on. I had like a piece of fabric that I had bought from like Hobby Lobby, and I had ordered a lighting kit. You know, I was just gonna start off with that because that it's such an important item in photographing. So I had a lighting kit, I had a backdrop, or a yeah, a backdrop for lay flats, and I figured out lay flat was harder for me personally. I didn't enjoy bending over trying to pick everything and move it around, especially with women's dress shirts because there is extra fabric added for the chest area, and trying to get that to lay flat and look appealing was not easy. So I quickly figured out, although I'd heard mannequins were harder, once I got one, I can photograph much quicker. It looks much better, and I enjoy it much better than trying to do lay flats. So yeah,
That's important. I'm like the complete opposite. I have a mannequin and don't use it because flat laying is faster and looks better. Well, for men's, I can't get any women's clothing to look right
yeah,
flat
exactly.
lay.
And it's
So
all, if I just sold like ties and men's dress shirts and pants, then yeah, I'd probably stick with flat lays. But I can't trying to do women's shirts, especially women's dress shirts or dresses. I could never get that to look right. So
Agreed.
I made
Does your
the
boyfriend help at all?
I tried to get him to in the beginning, and it's that was cut quick. He'll go sourcing with me sometimes,
Hmm.
but like I said, I do women's clothing now, so like it definitely moved just to me doing it. But he helps in a way that like when I say, "Oh, I'm gonna go work," I come upstairs and work, and he does whatever, which is a
Mm.
help because when you have someone like you, someone's like, "Oh, come do this with me, come do that with me," work time becomes difficult to manage, definitely.
Awesome. So, do you have ambition? What's your ambition for your eBay store? Is it just a hobby at this point, or do you want to have it be like a part-time job, sort of?
A little bit of both, I guess. I've always kind of, I think like well, I started it kind of as a hobby. Like I can make some money here and there and it'll be fun. And my store is still small, don't get me wrong. I think I have 100 items listed. That's just because of time management and trying to get everything together. But, okay, I lost oh, there we go. The big, like moment for me was our dog Izzy. We brought her to the vet and
Mm.
they the vet, the most expensive place on earth if you have a pet, and they wanted to get her vaccinations done early, and they're like, okay, so we'll just get them all done today, whatever. And then her heartworm medicine and flea medicine, and at the end of it, the bill was $270, and I could have taken it out of my account, but I was like, you know what, this is the moment it felt nice to be able to go to PayPal, transfer the money, and not have had to lose anything from like food money. So that it felt nice to have that really pay off. And I think that was the moment where I decided, like, okay, this is worth it. That was a $270 bill that didn't come out of my bank account.
No, that's awesome. I think a lot of people are using eBay, even a 100 item store, just as an emergency fund or a vacation fund and extra spending money or play money. And also something that as an investment, because in theory, you could just use that money to keep buying and just have a bigger and bigger and bigger store. Is your family around you, or did you guys just relocate?
So we both, or all of us, I guess his family, my family, and then us, all live near Houston, Texas. Um, and I want to just take a moment and sorry for everybody there because I still have family over there. Um,
Sure.
Definitely donate if you can. But anyway, we all live near Houston, and my parents retired. They were both retired. I was still in high school, and they said, I actually ended up moving to Louisiana and finishing high school here online, which is why I have lived here for a year, but just started college. So they said, well, you can move to Louisiana and start online. And we quickly figured out that it wouldn't affect any of my credits or anything. And they had already bought their retirement home in Sedona, Arizona.
Mm.
Yeah, so they're like, well, we're ready to go. And I was like, well, I'm ready to go. So we both, within a month, we had both moved out and they had sold our house.
Mm.
Yeah, so it was a
Are your
big,
parents supportive of you slanging stuff on the internet?
are they what?
Are they supportive?
Oh yeah, my dad's the biggest internet man there is. I mean, whenever I needed a webcam, he shipped me one from the house that he had laying around. So it was definitely, whenever I said, "Oh yeah, I found this that I can do online," they're like, "Okay, do your school stuff and you can fit that in, go ahead."
Mhm. That's great. And then, so you also started a YouTube channel, which I have linked in the description below. And I think a lot of people are starting YouTube channels to share what they buy or just some ideas or what's your vision for your channel. And everyone who's in the chat and whoever watches this in the future, make sure you subscribe to Catherine in the link below. Give us your vision.
Oh, okay. Ugh. So it's a hard question,
Hmm.
finding what you want to do. I guess my vision of it has always been, to have fun, number one. Like for me, I think it's really crazy and awesome that, I'm almost at 500 subscribers, that, whenever I post a video, people are commenting, people go to my Instagram and DM me. I mean, I just think that's awesome. I think it's so much fun when people message me and they're like, oh, someone messaged me and said they were a pre-med student doing this in college. And I was like, people think what I'm doing is hard. I don't know how you're surviving. And
Hmm.
it's cool to be able to just like meet people you've never known. Uh, and, some people you end up being able to help or they can help you. So that was like one main interest. And another was because when I first started, all the videos were from people who were, selling. I mean, this was their full-time job. They
Hmm.
quit their job and they did this full time. And it's hard whenever you're starting to relate and start your business from watching them. Because if you did that, then you think that there was a $500 upfront investment cost, you know? So I figured that starting my channel, especially since I'm still small, I could make videos and help people who are just starting, who have already been going, but still don't understand some of the basics because they learned from big people.
No, that's fair. I think that's really important. I would say 90% of my questions or comments are from people who have under 200 items and are just getting started, or even under 100 items, or even, I want to list my first item. So it's fun to go in there. And for me, I have had a lot of fun building my channel. I think people can tell. And I think if you lose that fun factor, you will drop off. So hopefully it stays and remains fun for you to share your journey, which I think it should. Sounds
Yeah.
like you're enjoying it.
Yeah, no, I definitely do. It was crazy to like when I made my first video, I was standing in the kitchen and I was cooking dinner after like an hour or two after I'd posted it and someone commented and I was like, "What? You found my video within the vasts of the internet and commented on it, like, and I think that's so much fun and to be able to interact with everyone. So yeah, I think it's always going to be fun. I can't see a day where it's not fun because it's not like I'm being forced to do it. There's no like
That's true.
backfire not doing it. So it's like, well, I'll make a video today. And then of course, there's always the pressure like you haven't uploaded one in a few days, you should get on that. And then you
Yep.
do. You make a vlog, it's just fun.
Are you making some vlogs also?
I want
I
to.
think I've watched one video and it was more of a vlog.
Yeah, I'm wanting to. I'm trying to get a good place on campus where I can like vlog because I'm there early every morning. I have an 8:30 a.m. every day. So I found a place in the quad where I think I can do it and the service is good, but I'm still figuring it out, but I want to for sure.
And you
I've been
can,
doing some on Instagram.
I saw on your Instagram post, you can ship at your union building.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I was so happy. Oh, because I had looked it up before school started. I was like,
Hmm.
what if I can, because the dorms are there and whatnot. So I figured there's got to be a way. And all I saw is that there was a FedEx store. And I don't
Mm.
ship FedEx, I ship USPS. But it turns out that FedEx store also, USPS and UPS picks up from them every day, Monday through Saturday.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm actually able to just bring a grocery bag with me in between my first and second class every day, walk to the union and drop it off. And it's
That's
easy.
so cool.
Yeah, and I haven't had any issues with it not shipping because I was worried, what if? But my packages have been delivered and everything's working out. So
You
yeah.
have a big package bag? How do you get your stuff there?
Yeah, as of now, I've just had like a grocery bag. But
Mm.
I was making a joke with Jacob. I was like, if it gets to the point where I'm bringing like mass amounts of packages, I'm gonna get like a velvet Santa bag and
Oh,
wrap
yeah,
it
awesome.
because people will definitely look at me and I'll be like, hey, what's up? Yeah, Santa, college Santa, how you doing?
You should get a big rolling bin. That would be really funny if you took
But
out the
I should
class.
get, I should get like a Goodwill bin and
But
roll.
yeah, if you had a Goodwill bin, the actual blue, for you guys, is it the tall, skinny ones or are they the flat, wide ones?
Well, that's what's funny, and that I was actually gonna talk about. We have a Ben's an hour from here in Scott, which is near Lafayette,
Yep.
and that place is the Ben's room is about the size I'd say of like an average living room.
What?
Yeah, it's stationary bins that are like not cardboard, plywood, like made out of plywood, and she just moves the items, she said, whenever the bin gets empty. And it's still by the pound, but I can go in there in an hour and look at every single item 3 times.
Wow.
And then she won't, it's not like she rotates it. So yeah,
Th- That
I'm on there like twice.
that's insane. Do you have bin envy when you watch bins from different states or different areas? Because we have 5 bins in our area, and all 5 are totally different.
Yeah, whenever like went on Goodwill's website and saw that there was a by the pound there, they opened up at like 9. I was up at 6. I was ready. I was super excited. Like I thought, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have so much time, to go through everything. I cleared my Saturday because we went on a Saturday, and I show up, and it's a huge warehouse, right? And this place is massive. And I go into the room, and it's a living room. And
What? That's
so
insane.
and that's next time I think I might make a weekend trip down there because there are some good like normal thrift stores, and I'm just gonna ask her if I can buy like a pallet. Like, can I give you $100 for a pallet of these clothes? Because I doubt.
Right.
And she said she works there every day and runs the whole thing, and she's the only one that works in there.
But was there a lot of competition or no?
There were a few people,
Hmm.
like two, but it's not like anyone's pushing each other. You're just kind of
Hmm.
walking through and looking through them.
I've given up on the Goodwill bins because I'm not aggressive enough here. They drop the clothes in, and there's so many hungry hands going into the pile, and I have to step away. It's too intense here. Um,
Yeah, I couldn't. We actually went to the one in Nashville, and I almost lost my temper once or twice because I remember this lady was standing next to me, and as like if, I'm standing here and she's standing here, as I would go to look at stuff, she'd take her hand and scoop all of the things in front of me, put them in her and not even look at them. And I over again and she'd do the same thing. So I was like, well, okay. I mean, I found some good pieces, but honestly, I don't know if it was just the selection there, but I felt like my time wasn't worth it. I spent so much time there and I got some good pieces, but I wasn't finding anything crazy, or a lot. So I feel like if, I lived in Nashville, I probably would stick to the thrift stores just because I like going through them and having time to look at things.
so when still school starts getting busy, are you going to just make little sourcing trips? Because I think that might be a thing that college students do is get a big bundle or a pallet or something and then process it when they have time during the school week. I'm not sure how you, what do you envision?
So I've basically figured out, like I said, that one thrift store I go to, I can only go on Wednesdays, or I will only go on Wednesdays, and sometimes Thursdays because my boyfriend's in the military and they get the same 50%. So sometimes we'll go on Thursdays, but the other thrift store I go to, I can go on any day because their prices are really great. I mean, all shirts are $1, all dresses are $2, and they don't look any.
Wow.
Yeah, I found a Lily Pulitzer dress there, perfect condition, and I paid $2 for it.
Well, that is incredible.
Yeah,
Dresses here in California are like around 12 bucks, 10 to 12. And men's dress shirts are between 7 and 11. It's pretty pricey, but we also have tons of wealthy people here. So
yeah.
you'll see 30, $40 men's items and 70 to $150 women's items, but you have to know what you're doing and those expensive pieces. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you check defects with women's clothing? Because I feel like a stain or a tear can really damage the value.
Yeah, so since I don't shop at the bins when I'm in a thrift store, I give myself time. Like I make sure because recently I went to the thrift store the other day, bought a jacket. I thought I looked it over, and there are some like the moth bites that
Right.
you can tell, and it was disappointing. But I only paid $1 for it, so I'm not gonna freak out about it. But I mean, I just I try and take my time basically. I look through the item. I don't try and rush myself, and I look in all the important spots or all the common spots, I guess. I overlook it for stains. And then especially with sweaters, I check the armpits because I've found so many holes in the armpits of sweaters that
Oh, I didn't know that. In the armpits of sweaters.
yeah, I always see holes in armpits of sweaters, especially those the thinner sweaters that aren't like chunky knit that are sewn right there. I've always find holes in those. And then, when I'm looking at sweaters are my big issue. I always find problems with sweaters, especially like thick knit, whenever it's already got holes in it and the whole thing, and you have to try and find the hole that's not supposed to be there.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I basically just look over the item, and if I miss something, I miss something. And, I'm still going to list it most likely because, I lost some money, but I don't pay a lot for anything. So my profit's still going to be there.
Is sweaters a big part of your business? Do you think? Do you like that a keystone?
Yeah, I think so, especially, within fall and winter. The sweater is like the fall and winter version of as like t-shirt or tank top is to summer and spring. Sweaters are easy to throw on, especially with women's. They're usually like solid colors. You can put on like legging boots and a sweater and go. So I think sweaters are easy, and everyone loves sweaters. It's not like there isn't a specific, or I say everyone, most women like sweaters. With tops, there are a lot of different styles. So I think sweaters are a pretty like general, easy go-to item, at least for me.
Awesome. What about coats?
I've recently sold a lot of coats, and I
Mm.
don't know why. I don't know why there are any down here, to be honest. I live in Baton Rouge. It's hot down here. Like even in winter, it's not cold, like a light jacket will do. But I recently, I think it did sell. Yeah, it did because I had to ship it at a flat rate. I had this women's Banana Republic wool coat. I don't know why that's down here. Like I don't, and it was in a local thrift store. I don't shop. I really don't shop at the Goodwill here because it's overpriced. I think it is. Um, so I always think like, who's donating these heavy coats, $150 wool coats in Louisiana? But they're
But
here.
I mean, everyone that buys one is donating them because they don't use them.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know who's buying them in the first place, but I'm glad you are because that was an expensive coat and I paid $2 for it. So
Wow. I have been finding so much snowboarding, heavy wool coats, pea coats, trench coats that are never worn because of how warm it is here.
yeah.
And they just got it as a gift, maybe, and it's going straight back. Um, do you do any garage selling?
Yeah, actually my first haul video was a garage sale haul. I enjoy garage selling. I almost like it. Sometimes I like it more than thrifting.
Hmm.
And really I can only do it. I mean, they still having garage sales this time of year, but it's like I can go to one or two, not like when in May I would have a list of like eight that I was going to. But yeah, I enjoy garage selling a lot because people generally I found aren't going to try and sell you their old ratty clothes. Like they're only going to put it up if they think it's worth giving to someone, at least from what I've seen. Or someone would pay for it, I guess you could say. And I remember this one garage sale. Oh gosh, I love the woman who was a business professional, only owned Ann Taylor and White House Black Market, and was selling all of it for like $1 a piece. Like she wasn't there. It was like her. I think it was her mom that was like selling it for her. But I was like, ma'am, your daughter is a godsend because I found some great pieces. And those are my favorite garage sales when it's someone's whole closet that you get and they all have the same style or brand and you get to go through them. Those are my favorite for
What
sure.
do you think? What do you think is considered a plus size or a good size to get in, let's say, White House Black Market? Because I see that stuff all the time. Is there a certain, like, if there was 10 pieces in different sizes, would you pick certain colors or sizes?
It depends. White House Black Market, I like buying business, like it's you I guess technically it's a tank top, but it's generally worn underneath a blazer, for like women, for professionals. My favorite to buy because women rather have 20 different business tank tops and one blazer, so they sell pretty quickly for me. And White House Black Market's good quality. As far as color and size, um, I guess it can go any way. I don't really look a certain way with color. I look at
Okay.
pattern. Floral, I always find does really well, and I don't know, geometric, I guess you could say. But that's
Mm.
generally all they put on their tank tops. And size, I think it can go any way. Plus size generally does well in any, you know, type of clothing, women's
Hmm.
clothing. I think the average size in America now for a woman, I think is a 14 or 12, I want to say, last time I heard. So plus size always does well, especially because there's less selection of it in stores. But most of the White House black market I find is from like an extra small to a medium,
Mm.
as far as what people are buying and then reselling or selling in garage sales and thrift stores.
Do you like to sell your own style? Like, do you think it's cute? Does it sell well on yourself?
Like, do I sell things that I like?
Like as an example, my girlfriend sells only stuff that she would wear because
Nice.
she just is like, if it doesn't sell, then I'll just keep it. So I don't know how you look at it, the things like that.
I don't know. I do it like a lot of the times I look at it that way. I feel like that's also just part of human, I don't want to say human nature, but our tendency. If we're looking at shirts, what's going to catch our eye and what we think is going to sell well is something we think we would buy. So I think that's just a normal way to look at it. But I try and buy stuff that I like and things that I see other people wearing a lot. So it's a little mix of both. I mean,
Okay.
there have been sometimes where I know something, people are wearing it, but I won't buy it. Like there's some, I don't know. It just depends on what it is. I
So
guess picky.
so give me a dude 101 on buying dresses. Like for me, I will walk through the dress section every time and just pick newer tags. And that's it. Because I
Oh,
don't have enough knowledge. I'm looking at MSRP and it confuses me. I think as a dude, the simpler the design, the easier for me to understand. But then what sells seems to be
oh,
floral, geometric,
oh.
complicated stuff.
How about this? Why don't you get all the stuff that's not new with tags and just mail it to me?
Okay,
And
perfect.
okay, so with women's dresses, I don't know. It can go either way. So as far as dresses in general, especially business dresses, one of my favorite things to find, one because it's not on every dress and it's useful, are pockets. If you find a dress
Oh,
pocket that isn't ugly, please purchase it from
wow.
from women everywhere. Just because, like for example, the pants I'm wearing right now, I know you can't see them. The front pockets, it's like a fake pocket. There's no pocket there.
Mm.
And it's like that in a lot of women's clothing. So having a pocket on pants is incredible, but on a dress, you don't, especially like if you're just bringing your phone with you somewhere and you can like stick it in a pocket, it's a big bonus. I love dresses with pockets.
Wow, that's cool. I mean, the pocket trick is how I tell women's from men's jeans.
Yeah, see?
Sometimes you can't tell, but the pocket's so small you can't even put anything in there.
Exactly. So being able to wear a dress that has pockets, and what's sad is that the pockets on the dress are usually deeper than women's pants that do have pockets.
Wow.
Yeah, but those always sell well for me, and it's an extra thing, you know. Because
It's like a feature.
yeah, it is. It's like when you buy, if you bought a phone and it said, "Oh, extra feature, like 20 hours of battery life." That's what it's like with a dress. Like, oh, it's floral, whatever, extra feature, it has pockets.
Do you put pockets in the title?
Oh yeah, every time.
Oh, wow.
Like I'll admit if the dress is like blue, white, and gray, I'll do blue and white and then fit in pockets.
Can you put a cell phone in a women's jean pocket? I don't think so.
No,
It looks,
not new cell phones.
Yeah, there's no way.
No, I can't. You can fit it in there, but actually, the reason I cracked my last phone screen was because I had put it in my pocket and I bent over and it like hit up against my waist, flipped out of my pocket, and cracked my whole front screen.
What? So because women store their phone usually in their purse, right?
Yeah.
Or their back pocket.
Mm-hmm. I'm both. It
Oh,
just
you
depends.
have both. Okay, I can see that. So the front pocket just doesn't work.
No, it's
Period, really.
useless. I don't even. I can't because even if you do find or get women's pants with front pockets, like I said, it's like 2 inches or maybe three,
Wow.
which is useless. I
But I
mean,
can see that on dresses it being unusually long
it's
and
it,
unnecessarily big.
it's not unnecessarily big. It's just like a good pocket size.
Oh, it's
Like
a good pocket size.
yeah,
Got you.
pocket should be like on everything. But yeah, it's a big, especially because if you're going somewhere formal, women a lot of the time won't bring like their wallet. You know, sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. Or if you have, like I have, you have like a little back
Mm.
rubber thing that holds your cards. So I just carry my phone with me. So if I have a dress that has pockets and I have my hands are like free, which is rare ever. But
What do you think about what's the difference between cropped and capri?
women's pants,
Yeah.
capri, I would say usually is like it depends on the brand. Generally, I'd say it's halfway on
Okay.
your cropped is usually right above your ankle. I would,
Okay.
but like I don't sell women's pants because I'm not great at it.
Okay. Because it gets a little confusing. There's petite, cropped, there's capri, and sometimes it's hard to tell because it depends on the height of the girl. And I've had so many questions like mid-thigh measurement, um,
Yeah,
front rise, rear rise. It's women are shaped differently than men, it seems like.
yeah. I've even had someone. Let's see. It was a shirt or a dress that had it was in between like a half sleeve and a three-quarter sleeve.
Mm.
And I put it on my arm and I thought it was a half sleeve. But then they said they put
Mm.
it on, it was a three-quarter sleeve. And they're like, oh, they didn't return it and they weren't upset. They're like, I just want to let you know, blah, blah, blah. And I put the arm measurement in there on long sleeve items.
Mm.
But, that's the same way with pants. I can't, that's why I don't sell them. Because I'd lose my mind trying to figure out between capri and cropped and, ugh.
Do you put in the description how you measure it?
No, because I have them labeled. So for dresses and tops, it has the armpit to armpit and then the length.
Mm.
All I usually do, unless it's a high-low top where the front is shorter and the back's longer, I'll say length from shoulder to bottom of the front and then shoulder to bottom of the back.
Got it. Okay. No, that's an accurate description of what it is. So let's say you're in college, you've never resold anything. How do you get started? And they find your channel. What would they do first?
See, this is why I need to make instructional video. Like I want to, but it makes me nervous.
Mhm.
Um, I think the first thing you have to do is learn how to shop. Like number one,
Okay.
learn how to thrift because you can go get 20 items and learn how to list, but the items could be awful. And then you've wasted your time and your money. So I think the
Mm.
first thing you have to do is learn how to thrift, learn what to buy, what resells well. It's it's crazy. I need to oh gosh. See now I feel like I need to just start making YouTube videos all night.
Have you been to like a retail shopping since your thrifting adventure?
No.
Okay.
I
The
haven't
reason why, go ahead.
now it makes me sad. Like now if I walk in a store, I actually no, I take that back. I went with my mom whenever I was visiting her and
Hmm.
she's like, "Oh, do you like this top?" And I was like, "How much was it?" And she's like, "Oh, 39.99." I said, "Put that back." I said, "Have you lost your mind? $40?" I was like, "I can get you a Ralph Lauren top for like 3." So I can't stand looking at retail prices now. It's
Mm.
ridiculous.
Because I've been selling men's clothing for a while now, and then I haven't been back to the mall in a long time. And then I just went recently and I walked through Nordstrom and I looked at every single department, and I couldn't believe how expensive this stuff is retail. And it gave me an idea because I did Nordstrom and then Nordstrom Rack, and then I thrifted, and it gave me a really good idea of what the brands are priced at because they're so different from the Rack and Nordstrom. And they even make items directly for Nordstrom Rack that are lower quality, that they ask for less. And at the thrift, you're literally most of the time getting the OG Nordstrom stuff because
Hmm.
the people who donate things are often the people who don't need they don't need the resell.
Yeah, and I have
High end.
a theory about that. Or within my area, I think I figured out why that one thrift store where I found the Lily Pulitzer dress and so many other good brands I had never heard of, like
Hmm.
designers, like actual designers. I think I figured out why it's because it's a church thrift store.
Oh,
I do live in the Bible Belt, so I think that that may be, if rich people are donating their clothes to someone, I think that the church thrift store may be why I was finding like Lily Pulitzer dresses.
right.
Hope that's why I'm gonna try and stick with that one because I've gone there twice and I found items each time that I can sell for $50 or more, and I paid $1 or $2 for them.
Yeah, that happened today. I went thrifting with Thrifty Boss Babe, and we went to a church thrift store, a brand new LuLaRoe with tags, like $5. So,
I've seen LuLaRoe here ever.
mm.
Oh my
are
God,
there
that's fun.
are there
Because,
brands that are you think in your area regionally that may not be in other areas?
oh gosh. I can think of brands that are in other areas that aren't here, like
Mm.
LuLaRoe. Even though recently on OfferUp, I've been seeing people like advertise that they sell it and on like Facebook Marketplace. Oh my gosh, let's see. I don't know. I think there's a lot more Lily Pulitzer here,
Mm.
and I don't know why. Well, you're in California, so maybe not. But for other people in like Oregon or because Lily Pulitzer's all very beachy and
Mm.
whatnot. So I've seen a lot more Vineyard Vines down here.
I don't see it too much here. I just thrifted my very first piece that was reasonably priced, and Vineyard Vines is very uncommon here.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of it down here. I see a lot of what a lot of the teenagers are buying. Like,
Mm.
up like rich, like the Vineyard Vine shirts, a t-shirt that's like $70.
Yeah, that's amazing that they can afford that and then donate it.
Yeah, I know. I wish.
I
That's what,
guess if you can afford a $70 t-shirt, you probably can donate it.
yeah.
It's probably no big deal.
Or or it doesn't, it's like getting that $15 for it isn't your time. Like you don't see that as valuable time, if that makes sense. You're like, well, I can just donate it, get the,
Hmm.
but whatever.
So let's talk about your minimum profit that you're looking for. I think a lot of students or people who have reached out to me, their margin is too low as a beginner. And so if they make a mistake and let's say, oh, I bought it for one and it's selling for nine free shipping, I'll pick it up. And that sounds good, but even, the ROI, but the total amount of money is really low. So you have to sell 100 of them to make 200 bucks. What do
Yeah.
you think as far as your minimum when you look at something?
Whenever I first started, I was doing free shipping and I was going and like I wanted higher end items, but I was picking up like the $10 stuff. And I've definitely figured out just for me as a person, that doesn't like get me excited. Like even when it does sell, um, like it doesn't, I'm not like, oh, I get to go ship this item that I got here. I don't, it just doesn't, and I don't enjoy it. Um, so that's another thing when people, talk about, I only have 100 items in my store, which isn't a lot and I want to grow it. But I rather have, the items I'm thrifting now are so much better than the items I started thrifting, not just because I've learned, just because I've gotten more picky. Like
Yeah.
I've just decided I don't, unless it's a cute shirt that I think is just nice as a shirt, regardless of the brand, I'm not going to pick up Hollister or Abercrombie, um, brands like that. I've really narrowed it to things that are good quality, good brand that I'm paying a good price for. I'm not
That's
just
actually
the
very
$10.
interesting. That's so interesting that you're saying that you're not excited to sell it because, like, I wouldn't be excited to sell a Massimo, top that was $14 new at Target. But like, if I were to sell a $600 pair of beautiful Gucci suede pumps, even as a dude, I'm excited to sell that because
Yeah,
it's just
that's
cool. It's like a
like
cool item.
even if my even though it's not, I mean, my profit margin's only gotten better as I've learned, mostly with finding better thrift stores, but and learning how to thrift. But yeah, I rather pay $10 for an item and sell it for 100 than pay a dollar for an item and sell it for 10.
Yep.
Even the same ratio, it whenever my phone lights up and says I sold $100 item, I'm gonna get off the couch and go ship that quicker than anyone can believe, just because it's more exciting whether whatever the item is or not. Whenever it's like I thrifted a good item, I got a good price for it, I sold it for a good price. I
Hmm.
guess it's more gratifying than, oh yeah, I got a Hollister t-shirt, just
That's
personal.
true. And it's one of those items that if you did sell, you would not get out of, you would not stop watching Game of Thrones and go ship it. You
Yeah,
would just continue doing nothing.
it's like, oh, I'll just, do it later,
Hmm.
whatever, it's like, no, I need, whenever I sold that Banana Republic jacket, I think I got it at the bins actually in Nashville. So I probably paid, I think it was under £2. So I probably paid like $1.50, $2 for it. And I think I sold it for 50. So
Amazing.
yeah, and things like that. I stopped it all. I think I was cooking dinner and I legitimately said, I turned off the stove, came up here, got that flat rate box. Like it's just so much more exciting because then you bring the package down, you set it by your front door, and you're like, that was a good flip. Like I'm proud of myself for picking this item. I don't know. It doesn't logically make sense sometimes, but it motivates you to go upstairs and list the next day.
Um,
That's for me.
Let me ask you this question, which is kind of a little um, maybe challenging. What would you do if you decided to be an eBay full-time reseller? What would change? I mean, obviously your day would change because you wouldn't have
Yeah.
class, but what do you
Um,
think?
as far as what would change, I definitely look at it more as like a business.
Hmm.
And I do look at it as a business now, but I don't, whenever I do like my bookkeeping and my expenses, I don't go item by item as what I bought it for and what I sold it for because I know in my head what I bought it for
Sure.
because I don't buy a whole lot of things. And when I do buy it, it's stuff I'm excited about. So I generally know what I paid for it. I definitely, if I did go full time, I'd do that. I'd go item by item. I'd source every day and just find different thrift stores. I'd drive further for the thrift stores that I was sourcing for if it was
Mhm.
full time, rather than right now. I don't want to drive more than like 20 minutes to a thrift store.
So you do
Uh,
have a car?
yeah, yeah, no, I have a
Okay.
car.
So Zira asks, how long does it take? How long did it take you to search comps before it became comfortable? And comps would be just comparable sales for an item.
Before it became comfortable, like by comfortable, do you mean, I don't know, maybe they mean like knowing in your head kind of what it's going to sell for,
Right.
or just becoming comfortable with it. I definitely learned that you can't take comps like as everything they are. You kind of
Hmm.
it's definitely with a grain of salt because some items the comps were really low or not nice, or especially for items that are common. Like if you look up an Ann Taylor sweater and try and look at comps, good luck because one will have sold for $1 and one will have sold for 30.
That's true.
There's no, with common items like that, it's hard. Now, if you have like vintage pieces or things like that, like something, there was one I picked up today where I was able to go in comps and say, okay, this is what I should list it for. But other things, you just have to kind of learn your price point and start out with a good in between. See if anyone watches it. See if someone buys it full price, then next time you know, okay, I sold that Ann Taylor sweater for $15 without someone even making an offer. Maybe I can bump it up if
Mm.
still like same quality.
Let's talk thrift store strategy. You and I get to the front door. We have 1 hour. You got a shopping cart. You got a dress with pockets.
I have a dress with I'm prepared. I have a dress.
And let me tell you what I would do. And then I want to hear what you would do. So if I went there and my pockets fit my phone, I would basically go through. And today I tried this method. For the first 55 minutes, I'm just filling my cart with what I think is going to do well. And I am no longer not double checking. Even if I know it's going to sell well, I kind of want to get an idea what the market is before I leave. So I'll spend the first 55 minutes filling my cart with everything I think is $20 or more plus shipping. And I don't want to pay more than $4. So I'm looking for 5X plus shipping, or I'm not even going to pick it up. And my theory is that if it's $20 plus shipping, you could discount the $10 plus shipping and probably move really fast. But if it's $10 plus shipping, no matter how much you discount it, it's not going to move fast because it's, again, like you said, a non-exciting item. So I go through, I try to find as many $20 plus shipping items as possible, fill it up, and then I sit down at a comfortable thrift store couch and look through all of it. So what do you do?
So with my Okay. So with the new church thrift store
Yep.
uh, that I started going to, first thing I go to is the dresses because each time I've gone, the big money makers for me have been in the dress section.
Mm.
So I go there first and I try and go section by section. And I do, it's similar to how you do it. So I go through item by item or section by section, look at every item. I don't discount any item. If I go to that section, I'm looking at every single item, I'm looking at the tag, and then I can, go through it quickly. Um, and then I don't really set a price point as far as what I'm going to put in my cart. I just go through, and if I see a brand I don't know, like the first time I went to that church thrift store, I saw it was Trina Turk. I had no idea what it was. I looked it up, and MSRP on all of that brand or her dresses are like $350. So I threw it in the cart. So I go through, and if it's a brand I have no idea about, I'll look it up and do comps on it then. If it's a brand I know, but I'm not sure of that type, that dress style or sweater, whatnot, that I don't know what that sells for, then I will just put it in the cart and look it up at the end.
Mm.
But yeah, I definitely go section by section because if not, I'll forget which section of the section I went to, and it'll be a mess, and I could miss something great that I just forgot about.
I agree. Section by section is definitely the way to go. So we're up at the hour point now. Is there anything else you'd like to tell a beginner? I know you're going to make some instructional videos for people who are just getting started, and it's great that you're in college. And I think there definitely needs to be some younger voices and to give people just an idea, because I think if you're 18 years old and you have discovered that you can get great stuff for $2, I think financially you have set yourself ahead of everyone else by 10 years because they don't fall into the consumerist trap necessarily. Because a dollar versus, $2 versus 40 is so different when you're just getting started.
Yeah. Let's see, general advice. Do your homework before you try and start, I think would be a big one. And, I want to start making videos, but besides me, go follow or subscribe to the big guys, see what they do. Watch, there's some great resellers that have great shipping videos. That's the only reason I knew how to ship because it is so confusing when you first start. I didn't know what the shipping tables were. I didn't know any of it. I didn't know
Hmm.
the weight restrictions, prices. Um, so definitely, go sit there for an hour and watch an instructional video. It's time, but spend that hour then instead of only charging someone $3 for shipping on an item and realizing it's actually 10. You know, just spend the time, learn how to ship, learn how to list. At eBay Open, they were talking about how to format a great title with the new, with the whole program. Go watch a video about how to format your title. It's all the little things that'll help starting. It'll make starting a whole lot easier. Because when I started, I just knew like women's brand, size, description. But now I know, there's an order to it. What keywords rank over others, and
That's
what.
super, super, super smart. I think homework and keeping your standards high, amazing when you get started. Catherine stayed up to 3 o'clock in the morning researching before as soon as she figured it out. That's key, guys. Always be learning, always be reaching out to find people. And Catherine, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you, even though there's a link in the description, and then we'll call it a night.
Okay. So my eBay store name is Catherine's underscore closet. Or no, sorry, my eBay username is Catherine's underscore closet. My eBay store name is Catherine's cute closet due to the you anyway, my Instagram name is Catherine's underscore closet. And
Wow.
that's it. Oh, and my YouTube channel is just Catherine's Closet. You can just type it in.
Awesome. Thank you very much for being on my channel and appreciate your time. And if you ever want me on your channel, let me know.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Every day.
Thank you.